strange feature of this expression is that it looks, in some respects, like the human smile. Smiling is a uniquely human expression that has evolved from the ancient fear face. This may sound odd because we think of smiling as friendly, not fearful, but there's a crucial link between the two. The fear face is sometimes used as a submissive signal, saying in effect, I'm scared, therefore I'm not a threat to you. In other words, it's an anti-aggressive action. It's only a small step from I am not aggressive to I am friendly, and that's how the human smile evolved. Because of the smile's anti-aggressive origins, witnessing it makes onlookers feel at ease and responsive to the smiler. For this reason, it's been a mainstay of commercial advertising for many years.
Certs is a candy mint. Certs is a breath mint.
Stop! You're both right. New Certs is 2 mints in 1. Stops bad breath in seconds. Tastiest mint of all.
Year after year after year. Lucky
The problem for these professional smilers, however, is that it's difficult to fake the expression perfectly. The fixed smile gives the game away.
For you.
For synchronized swimmers, the physical exertions of their sport make it even harder to fake a convincing smile. They have to keep on smiling to impress the judges, but it's not easy. One of the best places to observe the false smile is on the faces of the beachside photographer's customers.
That's it, beautiful. Just in a bit more. There. Beautiful. Smile. Come on, smile.
But how precisely do we know that this smile falls short of being convincing? The essential feature is that the specialized muscles that pull the mouth corners up and the ones around the eyes that create the smiling eyes are both much harder to control consciously than the more ancient ones that simply pull the mouth corners back. No matter how hard we try, we can't fabricate the perfect smile. This incredibly strong link between our facial expressions and the inner workings of our body has been put to very good use by imaginative doctors in America who've taken the radical step of clowning in hospital wards.
Oh, that's it. I think you're having a little too much fun, you know. You're having so much fun, you know, they might kick you out of here or something like that. Boy, look at all the stuff you got in here. You got a lot of great stuff.
Although this may appear to be a bizarre form of medical care, its impact is extraordinary. By making patients smile and laugh, their pain levels are reduced. Their happy facial expressions actually release endorphins, the body's natural painkillers, into their systems.
Just, well, we'll wait for later to do that.
Please come back.
Yeah, we'll come back later for that, okay? Oh, he broke his head. Oh, boy. You know, I think you ought to be a doctor like me.
Amazingly, the laughter created by this clowning works as well as any pain-killing drug. Such is the power of human body language.
The pacifier!
Well, bless you.
Don't say that, son.
Hi.
Because our body language reveals our true feelings, we often try to suppress it, to hide our fears and anxieties, our longings and our hostilities. But it's such an efficient communication system that we usually give away a few telltale signs. Now, for most of us, that's an everyday social challenge. But for some people, it's much more than that. For professional poker players, the suppression of body language is a way of life. For them, even the tiniest hint of emotion can cost a fortune. Here at the annual World Poker Contest in Las Vegas, $1 million in cash is piled onto the table to be won or lost on the final play of the cards. The finalists around the table are the best players in the world, and needless to say, they're masters of body language control. They epitomize the so-called poker face. But even they are not entirely immune to the urges of human body language. Careful studies of the telltale signs of poker players have revealed that there are several vital clues that can tell you when a hand is good or bad and when a player is bluffing. When a player has a bad hand, he stares at his cards a little longer. When a player has a good hand, his blink rate increases slightly. When he has a good hand, he looks away for a split second. When he has a bad hand, he bets with a flourish. But these particular players, world champions, in addition to being able to suppress their own facial expressions and their telltale gestures, are also masters of reading the body language of their competitors.
Jim's got a jack-6. That needs a 7 or a 4. Otherwise, Jim Dector becomes the 24th world champion. There's a 5. Jim Dector becomes a...
And this is the victor, but watch his face. This man has just won $1 million, but his expressions are so tightly under control that even now he can't show any emotion. There's no smile, no shouting for joy. His poker face is like a mask. All he allows himself eventually is a little jab in the air with a triumphant forefinger. Most of us would make poor poker players because we're so bad at lying. We give away our true feelings despite all our efforts to conceal them.
Your wallet? I found a phone book. I thought it was mine.
This woman has just been accused of stealing somebody's purse, and just by looking at her body language, it's possible to spot certain clues that suggest that her denials are false.
See, I had one like that too.
Yeah, this is mine.
Okay, well then mine is in your car or something.
Let's see your ID.
You can look inside my car if you want.
She brings her hand up to her mouth as if to hide the lie that she's telling. Face touching is often a sign of attempted deception.
How'd you get the purse? The phone
I
book?
got it right.
Where'd you find it?
It was on the floor and I automatically thought it was mine because...
And she uses the hand shrug gesture, an unconscious disclaimer that usually increases in frequency when lying is taking place.
Well, if you thought it was yours, then you just got to tell me.
And her eyes blink and close more than usual, an unconscious attempt to shut out the outside world, to cut herself off from the tension of the lie.
I put it in my bag, and my bag was open, so I thought it was mine, okay? I picked this up and this up too, automatically, and they're mine too. Okay, the wallet was on the floor, and my mind's mixed up, okay? He don't want the baby, I want the baby, okay? So I just magically just started picking up the things that were on the floor. I'm sorry.
Some people seem to think that body language is trivial, but it should be clear by now that this is not the case. Indeed, at moments of desperation, we turn not just to spoken language, but beyond that to the more primeval language of the body. A signaling system that was used by our ancestors for millions of years before the first human words were uttered, and one that can still play a crucial role in ensuring an individual's survival. But even more far-reaching than this, body language is so powerful that it can change the course of history and affect the behavior of literally millions of people, a fact that tyrants have not overlooked. For me, body language is far more than just a fascinating area of human biology. It's at the core of a whole new science, the study of human behavior from a zoological perspective. And for this series too, body watching is only the beginning. Turning a zoological eye towards our own species, I'll be looking at the commonplace as well as the more unusual actions of the human animal. Why, for example, for a species which so often lives in a state of extreme overpopulation, is aggressive behavior like this the exception rather than the rule? In fact, for the vast majority of the time, the human animal goes about its business in an amazingly ordered way. Every individual, even in the vast social system of a city, is aware of fitting into a very precise position in the social pattern. I'll be looking at the human animal's sexual behavior. What biological mechanisms are at work when we choose a partner? And what influences why we find certain people attractive and others not? When it comes to the courtship ritual, what are our species' typical behavior patterns? And why, at this time, do we so often display juvenile characteristics such as the need to be spoon-fed? Parental behavior. The bond between the human parent and its young is probably the strongest of any species in the world. And the effect of being separated can be quite devastating, especially for the parent.
All's well. All's well. All right. All's well.
What is the biological function of rites of passage, ceremonies that mark the arrival of sexual maturity? And why do human individuals remain alive long after they cease to be able to bear children? Finally, in this series, I'll be looking at those aspects of our behavior that appear to have no parallels in the rest of the animal kingdom. Is the playful behavior of our species really different from that seen in other animals? Is body decoration different from the elaborate and colourful display plumage of birds? What drives us to take serious risks merely for the thrill of it? But before this, in the next episode, I'll turn my attention to one of our most fundamental activities, that of finding food. There's no other species that consumes such an incredible variety of food. In fact, we're so good at extracting nutrients from our environment that we're able to adapt to and exploit virtually every type of habitat on this planet. And with our modern lifestyle, what's happened to our ancestral hunting urges? Now, I've sometimes been accused of degrading mankind, of insulting human dignity, of making man beastly. This surprised me because I like animals and I feel proud to call myself one. I've never looked down upon them. So to call human beings animals is not, to me, degrading. It's simply being honest and putting us in our place as part of the scheme of nature on the planet Earth.